So welcome back to a new lesson, and what we learn here is torque in 3 dimension. So in the earlier lessons we have learned how torque acts on a rigid body, but the entire analysis was in 2 dimensions. But before we go ahead and do this, I would want to put to use the learnings of our earlier chapter to understand how a yo-yo works. So when a yo-yo is made to roll down a certain distance, it loses its potential energy but gains kinetic energy, both in the form of translation and rotational kinetic energy. And as it goes back up, it regains its potential energy. So when a yo-yo hits the bottom of the string, an upward force from the string makes it stop. The yo-yo then keeps spinning, but only with rotational kinetic energy, that is, until you jerk it up, in which case it starts to climb back. So if you throw the yo-yo down with a good initial speed v and angular velocity omega, you can gain a lot of rotational energy at the bottom. So with this understanding, we can find a linear acceleration for a yo-yo that is rolling down by using Newton's laws, just the way we used for the body rolling down a ramp. So the understanding and analysis is quite the same, with the only difference being that instead of rolling down at an angle theta, the yo-yo is rolling down at an angle of 90 degrees. And instead of rolling at the outer surface, it is rolling at the axial radius of r0. And lastly, instead of force of friction that is acting up, you have the tension in the string that pulls it upwards. So in this expression we derived earlier, if you substitute 90 degrees for theta and r0 for r, you get this expression for linear acceleration for the yo-yo. So let's get back to a lesson around torque in 3 dimension, and what we learned in the earlier lesson was torque acting on a rigid body rotating about a fixed axis. So we'll now consider torque on a particle that moves along any path, not necessarily circular, and it rotates about a point, and this point need not be a fixed axis. And in that case, we'll define torque as a cross product of r and f, where r is the position vector and f is the force acting on the point. So if you have such a particle on an xy plane, let us say, having a position vector r with respect to the origin, and let us say a force acts on it in the way it is shown over here, then torque is equal to r cross f, that is r into f into sine of the smaller angle between the two vectors. Now the vector direction of this torque will be perpendicular to the vector r and vector f, and is found by right hand rule, wherein you slide the force vector up so that the tail of the force vector is on the tail of the position vector r. And once you have this formation, you sweep the fingers of your right hand from vector r to vector f, and when you do so, the direction in which your thumb points will be the direction of the vector representing the torque. So let us try to analyze this a little better, and let us say torque is written in this form. So you'll quickly realize that f sine theta is nothing but the perpendicular component of the force vector f, and therefore you can maybe write this as r into f perpendicular, or r into the perpendicular component of the force vector. You could also write torque as this, in which case you'll realize that r sine theta is nothing but the perpendicular distance from the origin to the line of action of force, and it's also called the moment arm of force vector. So therefore we can go ahead and write this as r perpendicular times the magnitude of force vector. So if you're asked to find what is the cross product of r and f, or what is the torque, it can be written as rf sine theta, or it could be written as r into the perpendicular component of force vector, or it can be written as the perpendicular component of position vector into the magnitude f.